ただいまご覧いただいております YouTube ライブにて記者会見を中継いたしますので、開始までしばらくお待ちください。はい、スリムの状況確認のため、0時30分で番組を中断いたします。
So we will end this program at 12:30. The press conference will be held on the same link. So please wait until the press conference begins. We will be ending this program at 12:30. Thank you. はい、こちらで、一旦、0時30分になりましたので、番組を中断いたします。ここまで、ご覧いただきありがとうございました。For watching.
Thank you very much for staying with us.
右の方の絵で探査機がなんか0メートルに下に行ってる、あれはちょっと正確には聞いてはいないですけど、月の表面の本当のこの高度とかなんかは得られてる地図なんかの誤差なんかもいろいろ大きくて、でそういう中でこうシミュレーションでしていった高度と、で実際の地面の高さが違ったりしてっていうことかなと思ってます。なので数メートルなんかはいくらでもあるので、スケールで見るとああいう状態になったりするのかなというふうに私は理解してました。
まだですね、こちらの方にも情報確認中という、情報しか届いておりませんので、もうしばらくお待ちください。
先ほどから何人かの方にどこの局で受けてるんだっていう質問を受けて、ちょっと正確には確認してなかったんですけど、いろいろこういう運用の時はあって推測で国内の臼田内之浦あたりじゃないかって答えたんですけど、ちょっと今確認してもらってるのでその後またご報告しますね。 先ほどの局の話ですけど、今確認中で、後で記者会見の中でご報告するか、質問に答える形かということで共有させていただくということになりましたので、お待ちください。
はい、まだ状況確認中という連絡ですので、もう少々お待ちください。ちょっと時間がかかっていますけれども、まだ状況を確認している最中ということですので、もう少々お待ちください。
So if you could just wait for a little more while, please. And thank you everyone at the Sagamihara the campus, and also people participating through WebEx, and those people looking at this through YouTube. We are still trying to confirm the situation at the moment, and so I apologize to keep you waiting, but please bear with us for a little more while. And we did actually say that it could take as long as 2 hours at the most in the press kit in advance. And for those people participating through YouTube, please understand that it is taking a little bit of time, and we are trying to confirm the situation. Thank you.
はい、
Mr. Yakoroshi from JAXA, the PR department, and everyone at the Sagamihara, the campus press center, and also everyone listening through WebEx, and also those people looking at the YouTube. And thank you very much for waiting. We now have some information. We will start the press conference from about 2:10. And so if you could start make your preparation. We intend to start the press conference at 10 minutes after 2 a.m. JST, Japan Standard Time. And we will also issue a release at that point as well. But we are also trying to upload information on our website at the same time. And so there could be a bit of a time lag to when we make the actual press release.
どうもありがとうございます。私記者会見まで、ということで担当してましたのでここで失礼させていただきます。いろいろご質問いただきましてありがとうございました。
お待たせしております。
Thank you for waiting. My name is Kishi from the PR media of JAXA. We will be starting a press conference soon, so if I could ask you to be prepared. And we have another person appearing on the stage. So the person is heading towards the podium. So if you could just bear with us for a few more seconds, please. Thank you everyone for waiting and apologize for making you wait. We are already at a starting time, but if you could just give us a little more while we prepare the press conference. Thank you. Thank you very much for waiting. We will start the press briefing session regarding a lunar landing of SLIM, a smart lander for investigating moon. Thank you very much for many of you for participating despite being late into the night, and we apologize for the fact that we have kept you waiting for quite a long time. For those participating through WebEx, and for those people also watching through the JAXA official site on the YouTube JAXA channel, I apologize to have kept you waiting for quite a long time. My name is Kaori Sasaki, the General Manager of PR from JAXA, and I will be the MC today. The press briefing today is held in a hybrid format, live from communication halls of Space Science and Exploration at Sagamihara Campus, JAXA. And we're also streaming this live on the JAXA official YouTube channel, JAXA channel. So I'd like to introduce the attendees. From the right, Dr. Hiroshi Yamakawa, President of JAXA. And in the middle, Dr. Hitoshi Kuninaka, Director General of ISIS JAXA. And next to him, Dr. Masaki Fujimoto, Deputy Director of ISIS JAXA. And I think we are handing out the press release as of 10 minutes past 2. And so I'd like to ask the President to start with a statement. My name is Yamakawa, Director of the President of JAXA. Thank you very much for many of you for participating today. I would like to start by saying a few things, and details will be explained by Mr. Kuninaka. And on the 20th of January 2024, at 10:20 JST, a smart lander for investigating moon landed on the moon. We have been able to confirm that it has arrived on the moon surface. My name is Kuninaka, the Director General of ISIS. As was explained, smart lander for investigating moon, SLIM, we made a challenge to landing on the moon. Now, the SLIM has been communicating to the Earth station, and it is receiving command from the Earth accurately, and the spacecraft is responding to these in a normal way. However, it seems that the solar cell is not generating electricity at this point in time, and since we are not able to generate electricity, and so the operation is being done using batteries on load. And based on the data, and landing has been stored on this spacecraft, and so we are trying to data source that to the Earth, and we are making effort to maximize the scientific the achievement. And during the descent to the moon, and while hovering above the moon surface, we have been able to separate Lev 1. And Lev 1, once separated, will automatically send the signal, and that has been successful. So we do consider Lev 1 and Lev 2 have been successfully separated. And we are making an effort to acquire data at this point in time. And in order for us to analyze the data, we will require some time. That has been the case scheduled from the start. And so in regards to sharing of the data, we will require a little more time. And so what we know at this point in time is, as I have explained, and so we are still gathering data to understand the situation of this spacecraft. Also, SLIM has targeted the high precision landing with an accuracy of 100 meters. Well, we require to do a detailed analysis of data as we have indicated in advance, and so as to whether we have been able to achieve 100-meter accuracy or not, we would require a little more time for us to be able to confirm on this point. And also, so we will gather the data we have been able to gather, and we are hoping of holding a press conference next week. As for a precise date, we will inform you next week. And so that is what we know at this point in time.
Thank you very much. Any follow-up comment from Dr. Fujimoto? Thank you very much. The materials have been distributed to everybody in the venue, and also those who are participating through WebEx online. We are also web streaming this program, so if you haven't received the materials yet, please wait for them. And also there will be a press release on the website of JAXA, and we are updating information every now and then on the website. So please be patient to receive the materials. Thank you very much indeed. From now on, without further ado, I would like to start taking questions from the members of the press. So we have members joining in the venue as well as online participants. So first, participants in the venue, followed by questions by online participants. If you are participating through a web line, please state your name and affiliation by typing that into the chat, and then we will appoint you. So from the venue, please wait for the microphone. Once you get the microphone, please state your name and affiliation before you ask your question. And since there are many members of the media joining this session, so please limit your question to just one question and be brief. Now I can see some hands. Okay. Please wait for the microphone. Eito of Sankei Shimbun newspaper. First and foremost, this time round, SLIM descended from the orbit, and the landing itself, the soft landing itself, was it successful or was it a failure? So solar cell panel is not functional, is not working at the moment. Does that mean, is that part of the criteria of a success or failure of the landing itself? Thank you for your question. We believe that the soft landing itself was successful. The major reason is because the spacecraft was able to send telemeter to Earth, which means that most of the equipment on the spacecraft is functional, working properly. So as you could see online, 10 kilometers was the altitude from which descent was made. So if the powered descent wasn't successful, then there would have been a collision at a very high speed. Then the spacecraft's function would have been lost completely. But now it is still sending data properly to Earth, which means our original purpose, objective of soft landing was successful. I believe this is the evidence for that. Thank you I'm very happy to hear that. If that's the case, the trouble is just around solar cell. It's a separate trouble or problem from the soft landing.
Thank you. The person towards my right will take a microphone to you. Kinata from NHK. Now, the solar cell is not generating electricity right now. And is that a trouble of the solar panel itself, or is it the attitude or direction, or what are the possible reasons for this? Yes, as you have indicated, the hardware of the solar cell and also the section receiving the electricity could be the cause of the trouble. But other portion of the spacecraft is functioning correctly, whether it be temperature data or the pressure data. We have been able to receive all the healthy values, and so I don't think it's just a singular error of a solar cell in itself. But another point. it could be of the attitude, not aiming at the intended direction. So we are trying to analyze the data that we are gathering at this point in time and analyzing the status at this point. But what we can say at this point in time is what I've actually explained.
Well, thank you very much, the gentleman in green. Naragane, freelance writer. So what is your observation? Could I ask each of those three speakers to share your observations? Thank you very much. Well, first and foremost, landing was made and communication was established. So a minimum success was made in my view. As for the details and detailed data assessment, this will take place in the future. So what about the precision within 100 meters and so on? That assessment is still open. So going forward, by assessing the data and so on, we will make many more findings. So first and foremost, landing was successful. So going forward, Japan's technology should develop even further, and we should be able to access the lunar surface. I believe that there is a path for opening to that now. So with the various countries going forward, there will be international cooperation which is already underway. So we'd like to provide all sorts of knowledge and insights. That's my observation. Thank you very much. So my question was that I wanted to ask observation from each speaker. So as you saw on the web quick look, the original orbit, intended orbit, was traced by the spacecraft. The orbit was in line with that, and the expected acceleration was also traced. The actual acceleration was also realized. So on a real-time basis, we were able to share such information result with you. So such an outreach activity was possible. This was done very well. Looking at the trace, 100-meter pinpoint landing, precision landing was pretty much successful. Of course, regarding the accurate result, we still need 1 month or so to do the analysis, as we had already communicated with you in advance. But in that sense, we cannot say anything definitively. It is premature to try to do that, but the intended course was followed. So I personally observed that the pinpoint landing was also successful. This technology going forward, we will send more spacecrafts to the moon, and also MMX program is underway towards Mars as well. So Artemis program is also saying moon to Mars should be realized. So in this context as well, Japan has established a major milestone or stepping stone to that. So I believe this was a greater step forward. Thank you very much. So I was in charge of the online program. I could see so many people rooting for it on the English channel as well from across the globe. Tens of thousands of people have been watching, and I'm very happy about it. Thank you very much. So you are supporting us. We are in space science, so at the end of the day, we are doing things we are supposed to be doing, we should be doing, but it's not just really about your ego. It is about people supporting you. Then we will be even more motivated. SLIM is such a difficult mission, but we've reached this point, and that is because of the support that you've been providing, and the team has been motivated even more. I believe this is the reason why we have been able to do this. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, the person at the front. The third person from here, yes. Please go ahead. My name is Inoue, a freelancer. Now, the solar cell is not generating electricity as you have explained, but based on the plan, for how long could the spacecraft continue to operate? And acquisition of data from the lunar surface is what you're going to prioritize. But in terms of data, do you have priority of what you would like to obtain? Well, right now, we are operating using battery mode. And in order to conserve the battery, the electricity, we have shut off the heat electricity in order to prolong its life. And also the trajectory navigation data when the spacecraft was moving to the landing site, we actually took photos of the crater, but we are downloading that with priority. And so navigation technology, navigation data, in other words, as to whether SLIM have been able to obtain these data accurately or not. So once we obtain this data, then we know what type of trajectory the spacecraft took in making its descent, and also be able to reproduce or regenerate the trajectory it took to the lunar surface. So that would be the data we want to download with priority. We also have multi-band camera. So the mantle substance composition can be analyzed using this the multi-band the camera. So we want to make sure that we will try to function this with a priority. But there is a limit to the battery. And so at this point in time, the battery power is likely to last for several hours. And so it's already been 1 hour since landing. But within the time available, we will try to do what we can do with our priority.
Thank you very much. Okay, so the lady over there, well, thank you very much. I am writing for Newsweek. A freelance writer, Akane is my name. Congratulations on the successful landing. So solar power cell is not working currently. So SLIM, can you take pictures itself and 100-meter pinpoint landing, success or failure? I understand that SLIM can take pictures to make such a judgment. And going forward, if solar power may not be restored, then pinpoint landing judgment, would it become difficult? Maybe it's restored, but if not, would it be difficult to make the judgment? Or what about the timing impact? Well, thank you very much. The stored data is now being downlinked, and by doing so on the flight path, what sort of data did it take? We will be able to understand that largely, and then currently it is receiving reception of signals. So from the Earth's orbit or trajectory, decision technology can be used to identify where signals are coming from. And already this decision-making technology for trajectory, this cannot be done on a real-time basis. Data has to be analyzed to identify the positioning. So 100-meter pinpoint landing, success or failure, data which can be evidence for that, we will be able to obtain all the relevant data necessary for that. As for the photos or pictures it can take, the spacecraft was up in the air and then it took some pictures. I believe you're talking about those photos. Separately, there is a Rev 1 and Rev 2 which had been separated already. So Rev 1 and Rev 2, if they are functioning properly, then SLIM's photos and images have been taken by Rev 1 and Rev 2, and I believe such a data is now being sent to us. As for the analysis of this data, it will take some time because of the nature of the work. Unfortunately, it's not something we can show you immediately, but Rev 1 and Rev 2 results are also something we are looking forward to seeing. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, the person over there, please. Yes. What is Ksaka from JST Science Portal? Now, the solar cell is not generating electricity as you have explained, and based on what you said, the battery would last for several hours. In other words, the several hours would be the remaining life of SLIM for it to operate. That's probably how we should look at it. But in order to enable solar cell to start generating electricity, are you going to make any attempts? Is there anything you can do to try to enable the solar cell to start generating electricity? Well, I think there are various ways of looking at it. But it is invaluable, the spacecraft, and we don't know the accurate the situation right now, so we don't want to do anything that is too excessive. So of the remaining hours to try to do something about it, we want to try to keep status quo. And the solar angle will change, and so every month where the sunlight shines on the moon changes, and this change occurs every month. And so one day in Earth is the moon goes around. So it takes 30 days for the solar angle to change of the moon. And so if that's the case, so when the solar direction change, and when the light shines from a different direction, the light could end up hitting the solar cell. And so we are having discussion what is the best course of action for us to take in due consideration of this. And by the sun angle returning, we are hoping for it to regain power. So first of all, while the battery is alive, you try to obtain data that you can obtain rather than trying to revive the solar cell. But if there could be the possibility that the sun's direction will change, and so even the battery may be not generating electricity, but there is still hope for the solar cell to start generating electricity again. And so even if the battery runs out and the SLIM loses all power, if the panel catches sunlight, then it will restart. And so as far as the function is concerned, we will be able to resume the operation of the SLIM in that instance.
Thank you very much. The gentleman sitting at the back. Nippon Hoso, Hatanaka is my name. On the live streaming screen, there was a control room, but there was almost no image from the control room. What was it like during the landing? So landing was finalized, and a solar power cell problem was discovered. So any changes in the control room? So we ourselves couldn't see the situation in the control room, so we apologize that we don't know what it was like in the control room.
Thank you. Is that Nakai is from Newsfix? If the solar cell is not restarted, then how would that impact the success criteria? What can be achieved and what may not be achieved? Well, in terms of success criteria, so you have the minimum success, the full success, and extra success. And in regards to minimum success, and is to achieve lunar landing using optical navigation, and to achieve precision landing, and to demonstrate that, and it's also develop a lightweight spacecraft system and check its operation in orbit. So these are the minimum success criteria. So in that regard, we do feel that we have been successful in achieving the minimum criteria for full success, achieve high precision landing within 100-meter accuracy. And in this regard, as I've been explaining from the outset, it will take about a month to do an accurate analysis. So, but as you saw on real-time the live stream, the SLIM did trace the expected course. So my personal impression is that we probably have been able to more or less achieve a high precision landing within 100-meter accuracy. And so the solar cell state is unlikely to impact the full the success criteria. Extra continue activities on a lunar surface for a certain period of time until sunset. Well, in this regard, it requires the function of the solar cell. So in regards to extra success, there is a possibility of not being able to achieve this.
Thank you very much. Yes, over there, please. 月刊星ナビ中野 Well, first of all, Japan has become the 5th country which made a success on this landing mission. Congratulations. So, the current posture of the spacecraft, now the solar cell is not generating electricity. So, after the vertical landing, it touched the lunar surface in its right position, or is the posture the same, or is it upside down? For example, the solar cell is at the bottom. Do you have any information about the posture of the spacecraft? Oh, thank you. We are now gathering information and performing analysis. So at this point in time, we cannot give you a response. If that's, thank you. So once you receive some data through downlink, you can get some information to make a judgment. Yes, we have obtained data, so perform analysis would be possible.
ではここで一旦
And so next, we would like to now receive questions from those people participating through WebEx. We'll come back to questions from the venue once again. But if you would like to ask a question from WebEx, please send in your question on the chat. But please mention your name. So please write in your questions if you have one. And I have now received a question. Yamanami-san from Yomiuri Shimbun. Please unmute yourself and ask your question. My name is Yamanami from Yomiuri Shimbun. Congratulations for today. Now, in relation to success criteria, I would like to ask a question. Now, in regards to the discussion of the attitude of the spacecraft, you need to look at that. But one of the landing for SLIM was, I think, a two-stage landing. If after a soft landing, if you did not achieve the desired position, so if the two-step landing method was not successful, then not being able to achieve the two-step landing, would that be considered negatively from the success criteria perspective? Well, as long as you read the success criteria, we have not given a definition in regards to two-stage landing or two-step landing. And so if we apply the success criteria as it's written, then we have likely have met the criteria for success. And we did not give a definition including the two-step landing. Understood. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next question from WebEx Mainichi Shimbun newspaper, Nagayama-san. Please go ahead. Nagayama of Mainichi Shimbun newspaper. Thank you very much for this opportunity and congratulations on your success today. Once again, my question would be that this time around, SLIM made a successful landing on the lunar surface. Going forward, the world is now competing very fiercely about the lunar exploration. What is the significance of this success? Could you please share your thoughts on this once again, Dr. Kuninaka? Well, thank you. As JAXA ISAS, we are in technology development. What we do is technology development. So lunar exploration, for example, CRIPS are promoted by NASA. That is a commercial lunar transport service. And JAXA and IASA, we are not really focusing on that sort of area. But the technology obtained through this mission can be leveraged for a private sector. If some private sector companies want to use this technology, then we would like to proactively provide such a technology to them. That's the position or thinking of ours. So are we going to start a lunar transportation service? That is not something we have been considering at all. But from the viewpoint of industry development, we do have some motivation. What about President Yamakawa from the viewpoint of international cooperation? What is your assessment about this success? Thank you very much for your question. Well, earlier, 100-meter precision, was it realized or not? We still need 1 month more to make that assessment. But at any rate, this time around, we were able to gain some insight and knowledge as well as experience. Based upon them, it used to be that we were landing where we could. Now we are trying to land where we want. That is the slogan of the project, if you like. So if 100-meter precision has been successful, then as a result of this project, this technology has been established. And in relation to this, this is the very first time in the world that this was achieved. And the significance of this is that on a global basis across the globe, there is some fierce competition taking place about the access to the lunar surface. That's because sustainable lunar exploration activity is expected and sought after. Now, the position of the crater used to be that it was a landing where it could as opposed to where it wants to. Going forward, it is more about exactly where in the crater we want to land such a high level of precision will be needed. So in that sense, sustainable lunar and lunar surface exploration, this will become a very important technology. So by obtaining such technology, of course, Japan's international competitiveness can be enhanced and acquired, and without technology background, it's not possible to provide international cooperation. So we'd like to promote international cooperation to this end. Thank you. Thank you very much.
はい、ありがとうございます。
Thank you. Next, from WebEx, from Kyodo News, Sue-san. Apparently difficult to ask questions verbally, and so please allow me to read this. In regards to the multi-band camera, you have said that you try to operate this as quickly as possible, but can this be operated and acquire data even without the solar cell operating? And if it is only with battery, would it be that the amount of exploration that can be done would be limited in comparison to when the solar cell is generating electricity? Well, it can only operate while the electricity is available. So in terms of exploration time, the scope to which the exploration can be done could be narrowed based on this. But given the environment, we want to achieve the maximum scientific the achievement, and so we'll continue to make effort to enable to that.
よろしかったでしょうか。
Thank you very much. Did that respond to the question? Thank you. There was a comment written in the chat saying thank you very much. So WebEx freelancer Torishima-san, over to you. Torishiba, freelance writer, congratulations on the successful landing. So I am aware that this is a detailed point. In the release statement, a solar cell is not generating electricity. That's the current situation. So the meaning of this is that is it absolutely zero electricity being generated, or electricity is generated but it's not enough for operation? Could you please share with us the nuance of this sentence? Well, we haven't looked at numbers, so we cannot quantify this. Having said that, we understand that there is no electricity being generated, not enough electricity for continuing activities. That's what we hear from the team. Thank you very much. I have a follow-up question. You mentioned that at this point in time, solar cell hardware problem may be solved, or if the angle of the some changes, the situation may be improved. The solar cell itself is intact, but it is generating no electricity. Is it the issue around the posture or attitude? Do you have any evidence to make such a call or judgment? So you mentioned that this may not be a hardware problem. Do you have any evidence for that? What is the rationale? Thank you. On the orbital trajectory, including the solar cell, it is working appropriately. And also after the landing was made, it is very unlikely that damage was made to the solar cell only. The feature of SLIM is that it is a small, lightweight one, 700 kilograms, which is only about a small car weight. That's how the design and manufacturing and production was done. So it is a very compact one in terms of the equipment inside. So destroying or damaging the spacecraft when the solar cell only would be damaged, that is very unlikely. So we don't believe that it was a hardware damage because we cannot detect any damage to other parts of the spacecraft, and that's our thinking. Thank you. Thank you very much. Going forward, I'm looking forward to hearing some good news. Thank you.
WebEx の方ご質問
Does anyone participating through WebEx have additional questions? If you have a question, please indicate this. It seems none, so we'll go back to the venue. And the person with the hands up right at the end, yes. My name is Fujisaki from Power Network, producing TV programs. Congratulations for your success. Now, it is quite late in the night right now, but there could be children or young people who are interested in space or about the moon. But with this success, do you have any message, particularly for young people and children and young people? Well, for the details, we still have to analyze the data going forward. But as I have said, we have made a landing. We have been able to establish communication. So in that regard, we are relieved for now. The SLIM project, or what the JAXA ISS has always been saying, is landing on the moon itself is of a very difficult technology, and so doing something that is challenging like this, making efforts, making challenges to something that is not all that easy is very important. So that's the first point. And children who will be our future. I really do hope that children is going to try to make challenges to areas of interest, areas that one wants to engage in. Now, in the outer space area, there is intensive competition, but it's also an area where collaboration is essential. So this is an area that requires both competition and collaboration. And in that regard, the base technology, base knowledge, base know-how, unless you have that, unless you have these, it's difficult to engage in neither competition nor collaboration. So in that regard, going forward, we do want to, link with various countries in the future. And children who want to, be engaged with the countries outside Japan, then the know-how and experience that will become the basis of that kind of interaction, I think is very important. Now, at this point in time where we don't have accurate data, and so it may be too much for me to say this, but this is my thoughts at this point in time. Well, making preparation for the SLIM mission, I've spoken with many people, and someone said that no one on this earth has never seen a moon. So when children look up to the moon from tomorrow, And so Slim landed in that location of the moon that we said that we're going to land, and we made that landing. But why did Slim actually get there? And of course, there are a lot of reasons as to why Slim traveled there. And so we went there and we investigated the rocks there. And if we investigate those rocks, what will we come to learn? In terms of this type of mission, it's not just taking a photo where we obtaining information, but we need to do a lot of things. But the Slim made a large step. So Slim went to the moon in that location, and what is it doing? You are able to expand your thinking from there. And if you actually think it in that way, then I think the success on this occasion ends up being very meaningful.
We'd like to welcome some more questions. Okay. The person in orange. Yes, please. NHK Mizuno. Earlier, as I heard you making comments, the landing was successful and 100-meter landing is likely to have succeeded too. If the possibility is high, then I thought that you could look happier. But all of your faces look very serious. Why is that an answer? Because you really wanted to achieve extra success? Well, it's somewhat concerning that the solar cell is not working. It is not activated. So I am working most closely to the team, and first and foremost, we just want to know what's happened. So, including the president, we are just thinking about what a spacecraft is looking like, what sort of condition it finds itself in. So once we know, we will know the next step, because we are always thinking about the next step. So this kind of a situation is very tough for us. So rather than being happy about what's already happened, we are always thinking about the next step, and we don't have a full visibility about what the next step will be. That's tough for us. You are saying that there has been a success, but there are many steps going forward. So you're concerned about them? Yes, if we can work on a plan we've already made, then we'd be happier, but we don't know, so we just want to think about the next step, right? Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
ではすみませんこちら。
Yes, the person second row from the front. Nanai is my name from the Kyodo News. On this occasion, the focus has been the vision-based navigation and the precision landing. But in regards to the vision-based navigation, has that gone well? Or will you not know this until you have identified the situation in regards to the pinpoint landing? And in regards to the two-step landing, you're still confirming as to whether we have achieved a success or not. That's correct. We have accurately traced, and we have actually traveled to the COE crater. And we have been able to show the data in real time, downrange, close range. We have been able to maintain very small number, and we have been able to trace the trajectory. And so in that regard, we do feel that vision-based navigation performed very well. In regards to the two-stage or two-step landing, we are still trying to analyze the situation as you have indicated.
Thank you very much. Yes, the person over there. The person in the very front row. Asahi Shimbun newspaper, Tamaki. So the landing itself was confirmed 20 past midnight. Were you able to immediately confirm that the landing was made? And also, when did you find out that the solar cell was not working? Could you share with us the specific timings you made these findings? Thank you. As you could see in the real-time monitor, at the left top, there is a mode being indicated. So power descent mode and a vertical descent mode. And finally, moon landing mode. such indications were made in that sequence. So the spacecraft was switching across these different modes, autonomously making a judgment. And then first 20 past midnight MLM indication was lit. So by looking at that, we were able to identify and recognize that the landing was made by the spacecraft. And then after that happened, if there was a stronger collision, then the spacecraft would have lost its function, losing signals and everything. But even after that, signals were continued to be sent. So we were certain that the soft landing was successful. And then immediately after the landing, then all sorts of checks took place. The temperature and the pressure of the equipment, were they in normal range? All teams analyzed that. And then electricity was not being generated from the solar cell. That report came that way. So the loss of electricity from the solar cell, that was immediately after the landing, because the teams made the confirmation or checking work immediately after that.
Yes, person at the front here, please. My name is Matsuzawa from GJ Press. So it landed the attitude was incorrect, was not able to generate electricity. I think that was with the European, the horizontal landing. I think similar thing had occurred. And I would assume they did presume something like this could occur. So in that regard, once the battery runs out, and the procedural thing, so when the battery runs out and the electricity is lost completely, are you going to just wait for that naturally, or are you going to implement some measures in the meantime and to maybe going into sleep mode? Well, and when the electricity or the power is lost, we do allow for the spacecraft to become inoperational. But after 2 weeks of nights, and if the spacecraft survives, then in 2 weeks' time, we will have 2 weeks of night. Then after the 2 weeks of night, there will be 2 weeks of day. And at that point in time, the sun will arrive at the solar panel. And so if the spacecraft survives the minus 200-degree nights, then in 2 weeks' time, it could revive again. So we did actually assume in the program of having to go through these cold nights. So the craft does have such a functionality. So we do have that kind of expectation. So it does have that kind of function. Before the battery runs out, are you going to do anything, any procedure? No, not assuming to do so at this point in time. Well, after the battery runs out and until it comes back, what type of mode would you call it? Is there any name given to a mode? So it's like a sleep mode? Well, I suppose it would be kind of a sleep mode. Then I have a request. I know you're involved in, tough times, and so it's several hours. So probably all the operations will be completed by the day today. So if you could make a press release or what had happened. So maybe, just a press release to say that the battery has run out. If you could make that kind of a press release, that would be appreciated. We'll consider.
Any other questions? Okay, now I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hands. And so we will take those questions and then we will give the floor to the WebEx participants. Okay, the person over there. Freelancer Otsuka. Currently, the condition of the lunar surface, so Slim made the landing And then I believe that spot is more towards the morning. So where is the sun if you say what time it is? That would be appreciated. Okay. We cannot say an accurate number. We don't have such data available to make a response to that question. If I remember correctly, I believe that that spot is more of a morning. So if the spacecraft is in a vertical posture, and then if the solar power cell is looking towards the west, then it's going to be a little bit after noon that the sunlight will shine on it. Is my understanding correct? Well, yes, we assume that there is such a possibility. And also earlier, to overcome the night, to spend the night, there may be a possibility that this will be successful. To be more specific, I believe you have some concerns about the battery and so on. What sort of functions do you have available to prepare for this kind of situation? Well, thank you. Well, SLIM's original purpose or main purpose is not to overcome the night. So we just have this wishful thinking that SLIM will be able to survive the night. If the light is on the solar cell, then the reception equipment will start working once again automatically, and then we can send a command from Earth to reawake the system. But it's not SLIM's main objective, so it's not a main function. But there is a possibility that this may be realized, and to leave such a possibility available, we have that function, though it's not a main function. Thank you very much.
Yes, the person I looked to, yes, as a second person. Yes, thank you. My name is Tanaka from Mainichi Shimbun, Mainichi newspaper. SLIM landed on the moon. Have you received any messages from overseas? Well, we have not received a kind of an official message as yet. We've been busy, so we have not been able to confirm. But just prior to their landing, I did actually receive a message from NASA, and someone, the chairperson of the scientific group in the U.S. SLIM was, I think, something that attracted a lot of interest in U.S. because size-wise, there is a CRISP service where it's a private sector service trying to go into the moon. So this is similar service in a sense. And so at that size, a good mission can be carried out. And we are adopting a different approach to the States. And so that's the reason why we have received a lot of interest. But after landing, I'm sure a lot of messages have been sent because my smartphone was very busy, but I haven't had time to look at it. But I think they were looking at the screen on the live stream, and they were sending message. And I would assume that the message is a congratulatory message, but I'm a little scared to look at it. But I just didn't have time to look at my smartphone.
Oh, yes, as a third person. Tokyo Tobi Mono Takai Okazawa. So the spacecraft signals are being received. What about the ground station situation? Is it NASA or Uchinoura that is being used? At the timing of the landing, the Japan base was used. And Uchinoura 34 meter and Usuda 64 meter were also operated. So the main station was Uchinoura station, and that's the station that was used when the landing took place. If that's the case, it's not Uchinoura, it's a Goldstone that is being used. Yes, that's true. So the Japan base is no longer used. It is using overseas station. I don't remember off my head which station is being used right now.
Yes, the lady towards the back. My name is Sasaya from TV Kanagawa. I apologize for my question being very basic, but data analysis for a pinpoint landing would require a certain time, and in regards to the analysis of data concerning the current attitude of SLIM, I would require some time. But without the electricity from solar cell, the time required for data analysis, would that be affected in one way or another? Or that part is going along the original schedule? It is actually activity based on the original schedule, and this is separate from the functionality of the solar cell. So just analysis of our acquired data. And so in that regard, we're not impacted by the solar cell situation.
Thank you very much. The next question, please. Nikkei Shimbun newspaper, Kawahara. Today, to the media, materials were distributed, and then the images of the lunar surface were planned 1 hour later after the landing, and 4 hours later, the first LiDAR image from the camera was expected. And in relation to this, because of the solar cell, the images themselves were not taken, or is it that the images had been indeed taken, but you are checking other situations, you are not doing that yet? And going forward, what sort of images will be made available by SLIM? Well, thank you for your question about the images. Because of the solar cell situation, we will not be able to proceed with the original plan. My apologies. Having said that, in a few days' time, there is a possibility that SLIM has taken some data, so it will be analyzed and some moon images may be shared with you. So it's not possible for us to provide such images within a couple of hours from now on, but in due course, I believe that we will be able to make some data available for you. Then, is that the surface image of the moon and a SLIM image? Moon images taken by SLIM, and there is a possibility that Level 1 and Level 2 have taken some data, and a multi-band data, camera data, may be shared with you. This is a possibility. Thank you very much.
And last, Ida-san here, right at the front. Ida is my name from Nikkan Kogyo Shimbun. And congratulations on successful landing on the moon. In regards to the development of SLIM on this occasion, I understand that many Japanese companies were involved. And so I'm sure the Japanese companies have been very supportive, and I would like to ask for you to make a comment to those the companies who have provided support. Yes, many companies have contributed, and all those people involved for gathering today. And through the real-time outreach, I think we also had an opportunity to enjoy what was happening on-site. And space business or space project cannot be done by JAXA alone. So procuring and assembling and developing, and this also requires the efforts, the know-how, the knowledge, and all that from Japanese companies. And so in that regard, and also not just the companies, but a lot of the teachers from university are helped by providing their knowledge. So in that regard, we have received support from everyone throughout Japan, which has enabled this. I talked about Uchinoura, the Usuda. I talked about the antennas at those stations. and the local community has made effort to contribute towards the space initiatives. And so I would like to take this opportunity to express my sincere gratitude to everyone who have provided their support.
Well, thank you very much. From WebEx, if anyone has a question, we will be able to entertain 2 to 3 more questions. Anyone? From WebEx, any questions? Please write your questions into the chat.
Now, 2問目。
Two reporters have written questions as their second questions, but I'd like to take questions from someone who's asking a question for the first time. If not, I'd like to give the floor to these 2 reporters who are asking questions for the second time. If any, please write your question into the chat. So, my apologies, Kyodo News, Sue-san. So it's not a voiced question, it is a written question, so let me read the question. So earlier, solar cell is not a functional, and you said that this is your concern. Based upon this situation, the landing itself was successful, but going forward about the lunar exploration and landing technology to develop this even further, what sort of challenges have you identified and what sort of issues would you like to overcome? Please. Well, we try to increase the precision or accuracy in making a landing. Soft landing on the moon itself was the very first attempt by JAXA as well as ISAS. So hard landing had been made or realized a few times in the past, but this time around this was challenge because it was soft landing, and then there are many difficult issues and challenges we need to overcome. We recognize them once again more frequently and more sustainably so that we can transport things to the moon. Then we have to achieve higher precision landing technology, and we are feeling this once again firsthand. So we try to obtain even more technologies. We want to increase the accuracy in our technology, such our landing technology should become more accurate and precise, and by doing so, not just to the moon but also to Mars, landing will be possible. This is within our scope of work, so we'd like to make certain of such achievements. What I wish to say earlier is that the battery end doesn't mean the end of the mission. So I want to think about what sort of next steps can be taken. Of course, beyond the slim, there will be the next mission, but at the same time, the battery ending doesn't mean a slim ending, so that we can identify specific steps. We first of all want to know what sort of situation slim finds itself in. So we want to spend the time available for us to grasp the situation, to get the data we have to await. So we cannot put smiles on our faces as yet because we are just wanting to see the next information. The end of the battery doesn't mean the end of slim mission. We just want a time, an opportunity to think about the next steps and then about what's beyond slim. My colleague had already discussed that for you. Thank you.
So Sue-san has also written in, thank you. Yamanami-san from Yomiuri Shimbun. Yamanami from Yomiuri Shimbun here. And in the Q&A before, confirmation of landing and confirmation that the solar cell was not generating. You have been able to confirm that relatively early, but the start of the press conference took quite a long time. So was that something that made judgment difficult? And also, from the Japanese perspective, from the lunar exploration. So following Kaguya, and we have been able to realize lunar landing. And we have been able to return to the moon. And so could I have your comment in reflection of that as well, please? Well, I do apologize for the fact that we were late in starting the press conference. Well, we are trying to analyze and interpret the data acquired. So that did actually take more time than we had wanted. And that was the reason why we needed more time to have been able to start the press conference, and I very much apologize for that. Now, we have returned to the moon, but going forward, we do have a LUPEX plan and the LEAD plan. And we have the crewed, the pressurized rover, the exploration towards the moon. We do have various plans in mind, and also towards the Artemis program. We have selected candidates for astronauts. So, as indicated by these, towards the moon and the expansion of activities on the lunar surface, we are in the midst of going through the steps, and so we want to build up on the momentum towards these endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you very much. There is one more question from WebX Tokyo Television, Televi Tokyo, please. TV Tokyo, Miyazaki-san, would you voice your question, please? Miyazaki-san, we cannot hear you. It seems that they are struggling to state the question verbally, so the question has been typed into the chat. Let me read it. This is a basic question. I'm afraid if solar power generation has been possible, then how long would the operation be, and what is your satisfaction level if you quantify it, please? In theory, during the day, from the solar cell, power can be used and activities would be possible. But another issue is that during the day, the temperature is more than 100 degrees Celsius, and the equipment temperature goes up along with the surface temperature of the moon. Then chips or semiconductors will lose their functionalities at about 100 degrees Celsius. So if the temperature situation deteriorates, then the equipment would be broken, especially electronics and so on would be dysfunctional. So we don't know unless we actually do it. That is the level of certainty we enjoy. If the equipment lasts or survives for a few days, that is good enough for us. That was our outlook. So thank you very much.
はい、よろしいでしょうか。はい、ありがとうございます。
Thank you. There was one more question from WebEx. From Mori-san. Mori-san from Nikkei Business. Please go ahead. This is Mori from Nikkei Business. Thank you for this opportunity. Now, how to utilize the successful outcome on this occasion? You have mentioned competition and collaboration a number of times already, but in terms of collaboration, how to collaborate? And are you going to wait as JAXA to be invited to projects by other countries or other companies, or are you going to be proactive in trying to sell what we have ourselves, or is there already a kind of a technology collaboration agreement? If you have something like that, please let us know. Well, at this point in time, it's not the case that we have a specific project of providing this technology. There is nothing that we can talk of at this point in time. However, from the perspective of international collaboration and towards the overseas the space agencies and the space agencies from around the world are creating missions together by offering respective technologies, and so we want to deal in those initiatives proactively as well. But at this point in time, we don't have any project we are able to mention at this point in time. Thank you. And I would like to add a little bit. Artemis program is a program to explore the moon and the Mars with the collaboration of various countries. Astronauts are at the center, attracting a lot of attention, but what the Artemis program is saying is to have a lot of people engage and participate to explore the moon and the Mars. And so the missions could be small, but we need to create a system to enable meaningful the outcome, and that was what we have aimed for. And I don't know whether we will take the initiative or not, but when you look at the outcome on this occasion, the people would consider this to be positive, leading to international collaboration for those new countries wanting to get involved in the space exploration. We want to collaborate, and that is my thoughts. Thinking about various things at the ISIS. That's my thought. Thank you. By the way, if that should happen, would there be income for JAXA? Well, not a monetary income. It could be international reputation in one sense. But if we do something together, and if great the observation, the equipment was provided for Japanese the scientists to be able to make access. So there are various aspects in the deal, but it's not a cash income per se. But I think slim on this occasion, and people praising this, considering it to be worthwhile, is priceless, really.
Well, thank you very much. I'd like to conclude taking questions from WebEx, and now turning to the venue once again. Well, I could see so many hands in the air. First comes first. Okay, so we will take 5 more questions, and then that's the end of the press conference. Yes, please. Hayashi, a freelancer writer, thank you very much for this opportunity today. Earlier, Dr. Kuninaka said that the planned orbit was traced, trajectory was traced, and acceleration was traced, so everything was very smooth, and a pinpoint landing was more or less successful. What about the final hovering when the vertical descent was made? I thought that the final 2 to 3 meters was somewhat fast. About the vertical descent until the landing, were you somewhat uncomfortable about the posture of the spacecraft, which may have led to the issue this time around? Did you see any signs about this? Well, thank you. I wasn't able to identify that myself because I didn't have data available, so I couldn't I had no recognition. I didn't see what you had seen. Well, halfway through acceleration and a planned trajectory trace, you were seeing that? Yes, but you just talked about some impression about the final couple meters. I didn't have that. What about Dr. Fujimoto? So my heart is pounding. So I am impressed that you were looking at that. So we will obtain data going forward. So want to make a verification. What was your impression when you saw the final couple meters? So during that operation from overseas, I was being interviewed by overseas. So I was in a way confused. I didn't notice that if I respond simply. So why did you say that you were impressed that you noticed that? Well, I was just awed at your observation. So now the reason why we are getting so much data, trying to obtain so much data, is because of what we want to do. Thank you. Another question is that pinpoint landing was pretty much successful, and then Dr. Yamakawa said that this would become a world first achievement, and then 100-meter precision pinpoint landing is really the first feat and achievement in the world, because I did some research in Apollo 12 in the Cabinet Office materials. 163 meters landing was successful. I was able to find some materials. But was that not intentional? It just happened to be 163 meters. So are you saying that this intended pinpoint landing is the very first achievement in the world? Is that what you meant? Well, that's my knowledge to try to respond to your question accurately. So could anyone follow up? So yes, intended 100-meter precision in landing was the first achievement by Slim. So this is amazing if it's the first achievement in the world. Yes, that's our understanding. Thank you very much.
はい、ありがとうございます。
Thank you. Yes, the person there. My name is Kanda from GG Press. Until the Slim the spacecraft structure was decided, a lot of simulation and experiment must have been conducted. But as a consequence, so the time bench, maybe the attitude was not the right in the end. But what were the potential risks that you had identified and you have recognized boulder on the surface? Based on a Kaguya data you were able to identify, but in terms of the spacecraft stability, something that may have had impact, like a gray zone and the large rocks or something like that. Was something like that identified as a risk initially? Well, Kaguya data or the U.S. satellite or the U.S. spacecraft data, all these were utilized and put together and to target near the COD crater, and that is what we had done. And so the utmost effort that we could have made have been injected to choose the location of landing and develop the spacecraft to enable that. We feel that we have done everything we can and all the methods of all the efforts we could. And if there was anything that was insufficient from our perspective, we are trying to, ascertain that by gathering data and by analyzing the data. So please give us a little more time in that regard.
Yes, thank you very much, the person at the back. And please wait for the microphone. Freelance Akiyama. Thank you. Now the data downlink is proceeding, and the Slim data will include so much information. But separately from that, when making an attempt to the lunar surface by various countries and NASA and so on are also providing precious images. In terms of Slim, are you going to provide information to other countries, and because of the error or data, is there going to be additional insight?
Hi.
Well, thank you very much for your question. So data taken by Slim will be a very local data. Well, I cannot really respond to this question directly, but what we can share the most is that when attempting a pinpoint landing, we get experiences that can be shared. So rather than data itself, it is about the operational know-how that we will be able to share. So a SLIM will get know-how and surely create detailed data. Not really the data itself, but it's more about how to capture the data to make a pinpoint landing. The experience or know-how itself is what we can share. I'm afraid I didn't fully understand your question. So LRO going forward, SLIM landing spot images will be shared, and so on, to understand the situation of the spacecraft and so on. For example, you will know the attitude and the positioning, posture of the spacecraft. Yes, we will only have a chance every 1 month because of the orbit condition. Now, once data is made available, the posture or attitude can be recovered and recreated, and we will be able to see that. So now we are in the learning process. Yes, you're right. And so once the data has to be recreated, and then LOR has to be checked. But it doesn't happen immediately. It's not going to be in the immediate future. Yes, that's right.
すみません、じゃあ、
So Ito-san towards the back, starting with the back. Ito-san. And it's this is Ito from Sankei News paper. I apologize for asking questions while you're quite tired, but simple confirmation. So right now, solar cell is not generating electricity. That's the situation. But prior to making the landing, so solar cell was operating normally without any problem. Is that right? Yes. Prior to making the landing, SPM was the indication, some pointing mode, and that's the mode for the solar cell pointing to the sun. There was no warning, and so I do believe that the solar cell was functioning well, and so the solar cell issue had occurred after landing. That's without question. Yes, that is what we think, and so. I think it was proceeding in line with the plan, but you didn't mention this in the release. So the start of the descent start as scheduled at the midnight on the dot 0000. Is that right? Yes.
Yes, Akusaka-san, please. JS Science Photo Kusaka. This is my second question about the solar cell. So looking at the overview once again, of configuration, there is just one phase or one surface like a shell of a turtle, just one side of the aircraft. So perhaps you could have put solar cells on other sides of the spacecraft. I believe that there are some design restraints and so on. Could you share with us the reason why solar panels are only one side or face of the spacecraft? The reason why I'm asking this is because for the past many years, SLIM has been underway, and then looking at the CG provided by JAXA, of course, this is only a 2D diagram, so I somewhat remember that there was an version which had solar cells on all sides of the aircraft, so perhaps that would have been helpful. So could you please explain as to why you ended up with this configuration? Yes, you're right. Through the history of the development, configuration has changed many times. As you rightly pointed out, at the beginning it was a cylinder type spacecraft, and around the cylinder there was a spin axis, there was a spin mode type spacecraft, and then we made some further considerations. Then for the two-step landing, we opted for this particular approach, and as a result, this type of flat spacecraft was what we opted for. Two-step landing approach was what we chose, which changed the configuration to a great deal, and solar panel body mount type cylinder type model was abandoned, and now we have this kind of a turtle shell solar cell type of model. We made that change. So body mount cylinder body getting solar cells around it, whatever direction light comes from, partial power generation would be possible, which is a benefit. But then there is a side which doesn't receive any sunlight, then there will be a loss of power generation efficiency. About 1/3 will be lost. So it will only be 1/3 of the benefit compared with the situation when all the power or solar cells are functioning. But if there is only one side which carries solar cells receiving sunlight and being fully operational, which is very efficient, this is very effective. So with a small amount of solar cells necessary, electricity can be generated. Such benefit was expected. So this was really a trade-off. We wanted to make the spacecraft lightweight because that was one of the objectives of slim. So as a result of such trade-off, cylinder body was changed to the turtle shell shape body. And then because of the combination with the two-step landing, we opted for this particular method. So not necessarily, it's sometimes good to put solar power cells across the spacecraft, or putting that on only one area is sometimes good. So there is no right answer. We just decided to opt for this option for slim. There are also design parameters, and as a result of making each decision, we ended up with this model. So design concept or thinking, because of the slim concept, rather than trying to be on the safe side by having solar cells all over the place, just choosing one area was more ideal. That was part of your design thinking. Thank you. Yes, that's the case. Thank you very much.
So we do have time constraints. I'd like to limit the last question to someone asking questions, someone who has not asked question yet. There are two people. Okay, so the person at the front to go first, please. My name is Shikura from Asahi Shimbun. Now, this press conference, Sakai-san was to attend this initially. The fact that he is not attending is because he was to prioritize the data downlinking, right? Yes. Yes, myself too. I was a little bit concerned the fact that you don't look all that happy. Now, Kuninaga-san, of this slim operation, if you were to score this, how would you score? And what score out of what score? Well, I am the Director General of ISIS JAXA, and so the staff tend to dislike me for the fact that I tend to make rather harsh comment. So if you could have that in mind when I give my score, and my score is 60 out of 100, so it's a pass mark just.
Yes, the person at the back. Yomiuri Shimbun newspaper, Kato, thank you. Just to confirm regarding Lev 1 and Lev 2. Lev 2 is working through Lev 1. So they are working normally. Were you able to confirm that they were taking images as well? Or anything that's already being confirmed, or any timing in the future, you know? the confirmation can be made. The only thing we were able to confirm is that the signals are being received for Lev 1 and Lev 2, and within those signals, what sort of data are included. We are still performing analysis, so whether or not we have the images, we cannot make a judgment as yet. We will need several more days to make such a judgment, and we'll be able to tell you. Regarding Lev 2, is it functional? Is it working? Regarding Lev 2, it is working through Lev 1. We have to analyze some images through Lev 1. So whether or not Lev 2 is working at this point in time, we cannot make a call. At least Lev 1 is working. We were able to confirm that. I believe that this is more accurate language. My follow-up question would be is that when landing was made and looking at telemetry, there is some 3D, and then it was sort of sinking into the ground to some extent. Some people were saying that was that because there was a gap between the expectation and reality. Do you believe that this could have impacted the landing? Well, thank you very much. This is another thing that we need to analyze together with others, and there is a margin of error in terms of the data we had already had. So it did look like the indication was that it had sunk into the ground. But if it was fully indicated in the system or not, this is something we have to look into. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And so we have the times constraints. And so with this, I would like to conclude the press conference. Thank you, everyone, for participating. And also those people participating through WebEx, thank you very much for your many questions. And also for those people viewing the press conference through the YouTube JAXA channel, thank you very much for watching, despite having to wait for quite a long time. So now in conclusion, we'd like to declare the press conference concluded. Thank you very much.
どうもありがとうございました。あれ